I'm ready when you are.
All right, we're getting our video up and running.
Is it still pretty smoky back home?
All right, it is 7 o'clock, and we will call the regular meeting of the Millwood City Council to order for Tuesday, September the 13th, 2022 at 7 p.m. At this time, I would like to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Sander, would you help us out this evening with the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So that brings us to item number 2 of our agenda tonight, which is attendance. Christina, you want to take the roll this evening?
Mayor Freeman.
Present.
Councilmember Beasy.
Present.
Councilmember Kohler.
Present.
Councilmember Sander.
Present.
Councilmember Van Hees.
Present.
Councilmember Stravens.
Present.
Thank you.
Please let the record show that we have a full quorum with council members Van Hees and Stravens attending remotely. At this time, we are at item number 3, approval of agenda. I would ask the council if there is any changes to the agenda they wish to see tonight as the regular agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as published.
I second the motion.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Are there any opposed? Hearing none opposed, the agenda is approved unanimously. And that brings us to our reports and presentations. Tonight we have the Spokane Valley Fire Department and Mr. Commissioner.
Yes. Anyway, Commissioner, our council, and Mr. Mayor, I'd like to introduce our Assistant Chief. We hired on shortly after Frank did, so we have 2 new Assistant Chiefs and our Chief. This is Zach Bond, is our new Assistant Chief. Please.
Mr. Bond, please, and is the mic on? Thank you. Please, go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, council members, city staff, nice to meet you. About 3.5 months into my new stint here in Spokane Valley Fire, and I'm loving every minute of it, and I'm happy to be here with you guys tonight. Chief Soto sends his regrets, and we're going to try and rotate this with the deputies now. So I'm sure you guys are familiar with this report, so I'll put my spin on it best I can. Please feel free to jump in with any questions as I go through it. So this first slide here is what we call a heat map. The brighter the colors up to the yellow are where our highest concentration of calls are. So over by Station 2 there, in the top left, City of Millwood, we like to see it blue. We like those call volumes to stay lower, which means we're having fewer emergencies. The majority of Spokane Valley Fire's calls occur in that triangle there between stations 7, 8, and 1. That's accounts for about 45% of our call volume in that corridor right there. So next slide, please.
Oh,
Whoop.
let's try. Oh, there you go.
There we go. Now we're focusing in on the city of Millwood. In the month of August, we saw 25 incidents within the city limits. It's an interesting statistic. Just did the department-wide statistics, and July was our busiest month so far of 2022. And August was the second busiest, and that didn't hold true for the city of Millwood. So you can see 25 incidents within the city limits there, 88% of which were EMS. Next slide, please. So we're having trouble with our response totals. So generally response numbers are going to be higher because those indicate the number of times a Spokane Valley Fire Department unit responds into the city. And oftentimes we'll have more than one unit. So that number should be greater than 25, but in this case it's not. So we're having a data problem with our system with this particular statistic as it is. Next slide, please. So top 5 responses for the month of August, the month of August. So the number there after the list number is the number of incidents that occurred in the city limits. That second number is just our internal code for the type of call. So we had 4 difficulty breathing, 3 what we call an unknown problem, which means the dispatcher isn't able to make a determinant over the phone. So they do their best to get us in the right direction with the right units. 3 sick, pretty general comment. 1 motor vehicle accident. and 1 assault. Top 5 for August. This is a year-to-date number. So year-to-date through August, we saw 197 incidents within the city of Millwood. And same graph down there with the colors this time, just indicating that July and August were right around average, it looks like, for call volume. Next slide, please. Again, those response numbers are off. That number should be greater than our incident totals. So we'll gloss over that one. So top 5 responses for year-to-date. So again, that unknown problem where our reporting party is not a good historian or not good at describing what the problem is, followed by 13 general sick calls, 11 difficulty breathing, 8 psychological issues, and 8 motor vehicle accidents. So some significant events that have been occurring recently, and specifically in the month of August, burn restrictions remain in place throughout the valley and the county. We just graduated Recruit Academy with 10 new recruits, so they're all out on the streets, and I believe Engine 2 here in Millwood does have at least one of those recruits. We have our fall open house coming up Saturday, October 1st from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in our training center off Sullivan. I invite all of you, your families, your friends, to come take a look at what we do for some displays, some demonstrations, and just to come meet all of us out there. So please put that on your calendars and join us. On August 25th, Deputy Chief Greg Rogers was sworn in as the new chair for the IAFC Fire and Life Safety Section, and IAFC is International Association of Fire Chiefs. So we're proud of Chief Rogers for achieving that level. Week of August 22nd to August 25th, we hosted a regional ladder truck training academy at our training tower, and we've invited some of our mutual and auto aid partners to train with us for vertical ventilation, which is when you see the firefighters up on the roof cutting holes. So KCFR, it actually is, that's Kootenai County from across the border there in Idaho, and County District 9 were there to join Spokane Valley firefighters on some vertical ventilation training. Fire Prevention Week coming up October 9th through 15th this year. Some significant incidents over the month of August. It is that time of year for brush fires, so Valley Engine 2 did respond to a small brush fire there at Argonne and Wellesley. That one was really small. Next one, vehicle fire there. And it actually ended up to be a horse trailer. Next slide, please. I had a vehicle collision near Trent and North Williams, a motorcycle versus a vehicle. Also that time of year that we see a lot of motorcycles out and about. So we certainly remind everybody to slow down and pay attention. It's also everybody's back in school. So we'd like to take every opportunity to remind people to pay attention to where they're driving and their surroundings, keep everybody safe. Most importantly, slow down. And another brush fire there. This one a little bit bigger, but slow moving. Fortunately, we've had a handful of very, very warm days, as I'm sure you know. But fortunately, we haven't had that quote-unquote perfect storm with heavy winds, so we would be able to contain these fires to relatively small. That's it. All right. Thank you.
Any questions for Assistant Chief Bond? Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So that brings us to item number 5, public comment. Christina, have we received any public comment by mail, electronic mail, or directly submitted to the city?
No, we have not.
So we have received no public comment with regards to the action items for this meeting tonight. That brings us to item number 6, an executive session, and we do have an executive session this evening. Mr. Wurst, would you be kind enough to state the purpose of tonight's executive session and the amount of time we are going to anticipate? I guess we could take, when is best? I mean,
Your call.
let's just do it now really quick.
Okay. City Council will convene to executive session pursuant to RCW 4256-110, subsection 1I, to discuss potential litigation. It is not, for 10 minutes unless otherwise extended, it is not anticipated the council will be asked to take action upon conclusion of the executive session.